The Veer and Kamu rode their horses together, making their way toward the fortress. As they traveled, Kamu commented on the Baskerville clan's lack of knowledge about the barbarians. The MC confidently responded, assuring her that they were well acquainted with the barbarians and frequently fought against them. He claimed that their knowledge surpassed that of the Morks. Curious, Kamu questioned Baker's decision to send the Baskerville triplets, referring to them as young and foolish hounds. The MC explained that it had been agreed with the Moore clan to position the main force on the other side of the mountain range. He wondered why Kamu was asking about something she already knew. Kamu smiled mischievously and playfully suggested that the MC might not be as well informed about the barbarians as he thought. The MC, determined to prove himself, retorted that as the person in charge of the delegation, he naturally possessed extensive knowledge. Kamu then went to ask him which of the tribes were the most annoying, as the MC thinks that she just keeps on asking questions. The MC answered her by stating it was the warrior tribe Balak in the sorcerer tribe Kakao, as the strength of Balak's bowmanship was on a completely different level to the Empire, and its principles isn't well known either. Kamu, teasingly, acknowledged his confidence in his well-informed answer about the ecologic of the barbaric tribes and awarded him 8 points out of 100 in her unique scoring system. Puzzled by the points, the MC questioned their purpose. Kamu simply replied that it was because he had answered well. The MC looked at her with curiosity, intrigued by her unusual scoring system. Kamu continued her evaluation of the MC, expressing her dislike for overly intelligent men and stating her preference for a little foolishness. She playfully critiqued Vakir's choice of a large horse, considering it ill-suited for his shorter stature, and deducted 6 points. Moving on to fashion, she expressed disappointment with this lackluster clothing choices and assigned him a mere 4 point. When she noticed the MC ignoring her, she playfully gave him just 1 point for his mannerisms. Kamu then playfully smiled and awarded his face 99 points. However, due to his poor control over his facial expressions, she playfully deducted 1 point. Growing frustrated, the MC urged Kamu to stop the useless evaluation. Kamu questioned why it was useless, asserting that she needed to be strict with her. Future husband, perplexed. The MC asked why he was considered her future husband. Kamu reminded him of a test he had passed 7 years ago, when he dueled Kamu's uncle to assess his suitability as a potential husband. Kamu expressed her dissatisfaction with her uncle's decision and how it had hindered her path to marriage. Reluctantly acknowledging the promise that had been made, she decided to follow through with it, albeit resentfully. While Kamu ended her frustrations, the MC observed her and acknowledged her prowess as a great fire mage. Interrupting her, the cure declared that he had forgotten about what happened that day and wished to make it as if it never occurred. Kamu's face flushed red, and she threw a jacket at the MC, exclaiming that he couldn't simply reverse something that had happened, and called him a dummy. She boasted about her genius intellect, claiming that once she witnessed something, she never forgot it. The MC examined the jacket and jokingly wondered if she had returned it without washing it. As they reached the outskirts of the fortress, Kamu informed the MC that the barbarians had ambushed the ruby mine, plundering either the indigenous slaves or the crops. She explained that they took slaves to sell elsewhere, pointing to a wall built by earth and iron mages over the course of a month. She proudly showcased the skill of the Moor mages. Impressed, the MC acknowledged their talent, knowing that it would have taken several hundred regular people around a year to achieve the same result. Kamu affirmed his observation with pride. The MC noticed some large holes in the wall and jokingly asked if they were caused by the arrows shot by the Balaks. Kamu confirmed that Pieros carried a strong aura and had caused numerous casualties during nighttime guard duty. She mentioned that the arrows were capable of breaking through walls 2 to 3 meters thick, emphasizing the exceptional archery skills of the Balaks. She revealed that her uncle had suffered a severe chest injury from one of these arrows, but had luckily survived, albeit with wounded pride, recall in a similar experience from his own clan. The MC mentioned that his patriarch had injured his nose bridge. Curious, the cure inquired about the talented individuals among the barbarians, and Kamu responded that she believed there was a skilled female among them due to their black-painted faces. It was challenging to discern their physical traits. As they turned around, a mage approached them, addressing Kamu as the vice head of the fortress. The mage reported that a recon member of the barbarians had been captured and urged them to come quickly. Curious and concerned, Kamu and Vakir followed the mage to attempt with a captive barbarian was being held. The MC observed the barbarian and identified him as a member of the Rococo sorcerer tribe. Kamu inquired if any information had been extracted from him. The mage informed them that the barbarian remained uncooperative and resistant to psychic magic due to his strong sorcery, making it impossible to read his mind. Kamu then questioned the barbarian about the recent ambush on Amor clan's fortress, specifically asking about her cousin Rose, who had been kidnapped. The barbarian responded with a smile and spoke in his native barbarian language. Kamu turned to the mage, requesting a translation to learn about the whereabouts of the barbarian who rebelled. The mage reported that when the barbarians attacked, everyone at the fortress had either died or been taken away. He informed her that at that moment there was no one available to translate the barbarian's words. Suddenly the MC spoke up, revealing that he knew a little of the Rococo language. Surprised, Kamu questioned what the MC didn't know how to do. The MC clarified that he was not fluent and only had a basic understanding of the vocabulary. Kamu requested Vakir to ask the barbarian about the whereabouts of her kidnapped sixth cousin, describing her as a 12-year-old girl with red eyes, red hair, and white skin. The MC posed the question to the barbarian in the barbarian language, and the barbarian responded with an evil smile and gave him a short reply, closing his eyes. For a moment, the MC relayed the grim news to Kamu. Her cousin was dead. Anger filled Kamu's face upon hearing this devastating information. She declared that since the senator of the audience hall was currently being treated and the senator of the temple was away on an inspection, the decision would be made by her, Camel Morg, a member of the middle house, and the vice head of the fortress. She announced the verdict: immediate execution. A spike pierced the barbarian's body, and soon he was consumed by fire. As the barbarian burned, he uttered something. But Kamu dismissed his words, stating that after the war, the language he spoke would only be used in hell. The barbarian's companion watched in horror. As he met his fiery demise, filled with anger, Kamu turned around and urged the MC to follow her, leaving him silently observing her departing figure, exiting the tent. He was greeted by the sight of Kamu crying out loud. He walked towards her, recognizing that despite her tough exterior, she was still only 15 years old. The MC asked her about her close relationship with her cousin, and Kamu confirmed that they were indeed very close. She described her cousin as a pure child who didn't fit into the cold-hearted Morg clan. The MC tried to console her, saying that he believed her cousin had left this world comfortably. However, Kamu looked at him and expressed her doubts, stating that she was a genius and understood a little of what was said. She asked him to tell her honestly if what she heard was true. The MC felt tense and wondered if she had understood the barbarian's words correctly. What the barbarian had said previously was, "We ate her." Tears once again flooded Kamu's eyes, and she felt her knees apologizing for not being able to protect her younger cousin. The MC witnessed her anguish and initially extended his hand to comfort her. However, he hesitated and retracted his hand back. Kamu's cries filled the air, leaving the MC standing there, pondering the situation. After a while, Kamu managed to compose herself, wiping away the tears that stained her cheeks. She made it clear that she didn't want any half-hearted sympathy, stating that she would have killed anyone who offered it. Looking at the MC, she declared that it wasn't the time to mourn, and that she needed to regain her composure quickly to seek revenge. The MC admired Kamu's strength and determination, acknowledging that heroines were indeed different. He reached out his hand towards her, agreeing with her sentiments, however. Just as Kamu was about to take his hand, a loud sound echoed through the air resembling the ringing of a bell. Curious about the source of the sound, the MC questioned its origin. Kamu stood up and explained that it was a signal, notifying them of a barbarian attack. The MC commented that her time for revenge had come rather quickly. Outside the fortress, a group of barbarian girls sat on top white wolves, armed with bows and arrows. Their leader, a skilled archer, notched an arrow and shot it towards the guard station on the fortress walls. Caught off guard, the guards had no time to react as the arrow exploded near them, causing devastation. The barbarian girl signaled her companions to begin the attack. With their wolves, they engaged in a fierce battle against the soldiers of the Morg clan. The wolves fought ferociously, while the barbarians slashed at their enemies. They skillfully used ropes to incapacitate the soldier, tightening them around their necks. In the midst of the chaotic scene, the MC arrived and witnessed the gruesome sight. He wondered if he had arrived too quickly. Observing the intense battle between the morgue soldiers and the barbarian, suddenly, a rope flew towards the MC and wrapped tightly around his neck. Confused, he looked ahead and realized that two barbarian girls had skillfully used ropes to capture him. They spoke in a native language, mentioning something about catching a good catch in their successful hunt for husbands. Understanding their intentions, the MC contemplated the barbarians' plan to capture people and make them suitors, aiming to create a superior tribe. He quickly seized hold of the rope and swung it, sending the girls flying through the air. With a grin, he informed them that he couldn't be their husband and jokingly added that he might already be engaged. As the two barbarian girls crashed onto the ground, the male barbarian watched in shock, uncertain of Vakir's affiliation. They readied their arrows, preparing for an attack. One of them asked his companion if the MC belonged to the enemy forces. Undeterred by the situation, the MC didn't back down. He bravely moved forward, marching straight toward the incoming arrows. In his mind, he remembered Hugo's request to avoid initiating a battle until joining up with the main force. He pondered whether he should wait or take action. With unwavering determination, the MC unsheathed his sword and deftly cut down the incoming arrows with precise strikes, showcasing his impressive skill and agility. The barbarian were astonished by the MC display of prowess and expressed their disbelief. However, their surprise was short-lived as a sudden burst of fire engulfed, them causing cries of pain. Camus would cast the fire spell, emerged from behind the MC, expressing her anger towards the barbarians and declaring their imminent demise. The MC stared at Camus in awe, realizing that she had turned the entire area into a blazing inferno. Camus questioned Vakir, asking if he had used liquid aura, indicating that she recognized his abilities as a graduator. She stated that she knew he was the only man she could acknowledge. The cure confirmed.